Acts, but we'll get there in a moment. All right? Revelation chapter 2, and begin reading in verse number 1. Revelation chapter 2, and begin reading in verse number 1. Quickly, while you're turning, we'll remember we've seen the introduction of the book of Revelation. We've seen who it's wrote by, why it's written, several things we've seen in chapter 1. We've seen this vision of Christ. We've seen a lot already. We've seen quite a bit. Now, chapter 2 starts something completely different. We go from this vision of Christ to John being instructed to write 7 letters, 7 epistles, if you would, to 7 churches in Asia. And we'll see that in chapter 2 and chapter 3. Just a list of letters, a list of short letters, really, to 7 different churches. And tonight we'll start with the first. In verse number 1, we'll begin with a letter to the church at Ephesus. And we'll say a little bit more about that after we read. Revelation chapter 2, verse 1, the Bible says, "Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, These things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks." Now, we know, of course, that's talking about Christ. Seen that already in the vision in chapter 1. I think I've mentioned previously, if not, I'll mention it tonight. Each one of these letters begin with a picture of Christ, something about him. Each one's different. Each letter, each church, he addresses it as a different thing. Here in the book, in Ephesus, he says, "The one that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand and walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks." It also ends with him saying, "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches." And then he tells us something different in each letter that he promises to us. And we'll look at those as we go through. We'll not get that far tonight. I just want to make mention of it while it's on my mind. Verse 2, he says, "I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, how thou canst not